All right, ladies and gentlemen. So for this keynote address, we will be pondering over cyber intelligence, driving next-gen cybersecurity solutions. And for this, ladies and gentlemen, may I please have all of you kindly applaud as I call upon and welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Himangshu Dubey, Senior Director, Engineering Security Labs, SecRide. And let me inform you that this session is brought to you by SecRide themselves. Can I have a round of applause, everyone? You have been a wonderful audience, I must say.
Good morning, everyone. In this, I should not even call it keynote. So my intention is to share how cyber intelligence can be used to improve your cybersecurity posture. We have all been dealing with cyber threats for many, many years. We at SecRide have been coming up with newer ways to detect these cyber threats and keep our customers protected. And that's where cyber intelligence comes into picture. Now, how do we utilize it? How it benefits you? That would be the intent of this quick presentation. And I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I have some of my colleagues from SecRide as well here. We would try to answer whatever questions we can. All right, so I'll move on. Before I get into the cyber intelligence part, I would like to spend a few minutes talking about how cyber attacks and threats have evolved over last two and a half decades. Early 2000s, we termed this as nuisance era. In this period, the threats were merely sort of mildly disruptive, right? They didn't do a lot. We used to have some worms, some infectors. They would either slow down your system, which would require you a reboot. In some cases, some tech-savvy people would end up formatting their systems and everything else would work okay. Not a lot was happening on computers at that time, so this was not really a major issue. Then, around 2005, we moved into something we call as monetization era. Cyber attackers recognized that with growing adoption of digital technologies, growing reach of internet, the digital world presented them with an option to make money. And that's where we started seeing newer age of threats such as spam, botnets, and banking trojans. And this gave way to one of the most prominent threats of today. I am sure you all have heard about this, the ransomware. We term this as the ransomware era. Initially, the ransomware targeted only individual users. Once the attackers perfected their techniques, though, they moved on to targeting enterprises, where the data would be encrypted and then attackers would demand ransom in order for them to get the data back. And that's not it. The attackers have been continuously evolving their technique. In recent times, we have seen double extortion and multi-vector extortion techniques. So, in addition to simply encrypting the data, the attackers also steal your data before encryption. And then they blackmail you that in case of non-payment, you will not get the decryption key. Also, the data that was stolen, the attackers may end up selling it to a competitor or somebody else on the dark web. So, the chances of payments have increased substantially. In parallel, we have also seen information era. So, as more and more critical sector organizations, even government organizations, have moved to adopt digital technologies, they have become a prime target for cyber attack groups, particularly the highly sophisticated attack groups, which are in many cases backed by nation-state actors. Now imagine, they have no dearth of money. They can try out whatever they want to on their environment in their domain before actually launching the attack. And the primary intent of attacks in information era is espionage and sabotage. All right, so that was how the cyber threats have evolved and what the cyber threats of today look like. Now, As cyber threats have evolved during this period, so has cybersecurity. And that's not just Securite, it's all the security vendors across the world. We all have been trying to improve our solutions to keep ahead of this game. It's a cat and mouse game. You keep fighting the attackers all the time. We actually term ourselves as cyber defenders. So what are the cyber defenders doing? What are the solutions that you have available for you to tackle cyber threats of today? So some of the solutions that I'm sure you all of the esteemed listeners here have heard of are Zero Trust, EDR, XDR, SIM and SOAR solutions, and some other next-gen security products, all of which are trying to tackle these cyber threats, the new cyber threats in ransomware era and information era, the APT groups, all of these sophisticated threats that we are dealing with right now. At a high level, all these products have this sort of architecture. So you would start with a collection phase where either sensor-based approach or sensor-less approach is used by these security products. The sensors or the sensor-less approaches, they collect a lot of data from your environment, various devices that are deployed in your environment. The data will be collected from all of them, and then that data goes to a central analytics layer. Now this analytics layer is where all the magic happens. So this is where extensive data analytics is happening, machine learning is being used, quite a bit of innovation is happening in this layer. Many human researchers are continuously working on this layer. And the output of this analytics layer is a series of alerts that get generated. Now these alerts contain quite a bit of useful information that the security teams at your organizations can use, and use that to move to the resolve or remediation phase. In this phase, the security teams can use these products to remediate the threats, isolate the end host, and take necessary action. So that's all well and good, right? This works. If this works perfectly, then we do not have to worry about cyber attackers at all. All our cyber threats would be taken care of automatically. Unfortunately, that's not the case, because I'm sure you all can imagine that the collect phase collects large amounts of data. And then the analytics that have to happen, they generate tremendous amounts of alerts. Because the activities that the attackers are doing, they are very similar to activities done by legitimate applications or even your IT teams, for example, in order to keep your machines up to date with latest software patches, just as an example. So this makes the job of cybersecurity solutions really hard, right? And we end up with another challenge. We see too many alerts, which ends up causing alert fatigue for your security engineers, for your security teams. Now, when that happens, you may end up in a situation when some of the critical alerts that should have been acted upon were actually missed because of the large number of alerts that everybody is dealing with. You probably have heard about tactics, techniques, and procedures, the MITRE TTPs that MITRE have defined. Now, these TTPs are a really good indicator of something potentially malicious happening in your environment. However, focusing on these MITRE TTPs ends up generating all these alerts, because those TTPs get triggered even for legitimate activities. And in the end, with these large number of alerts, you need large security teams. Unfortunately, we do not have that many security professionals available. Not in India, not globally, everybody is struggling with that. So that means that your alert backlog is continuously increasing, it's continuously growing. And when that happens, you are not able to utilize or realize the real value of these security products. So, and this is a challenge that everybody is facing. At Securite, we are addressing this by using more and more of cyber intelligence. So at Securite, we have a dedicated group, Security Labs, which is focused on continuously understanding newer threat types, newer attack types, and gathering intelligence about how cyber attackers behave, how cyber threats behave, and how all of this is evolving. Now, this evolution or understanding of this evolution helps the researchers at Security Labs generate intelligence that can help minimize the number of alerts that the products are seeing and generate actionable insights. So with the limited security personnel that you have at your disposal, if you get actionable insights and well prioritized alerts, then the chances of a critical alert getting missed is very low. Now a bit about Security Labs. It's a group of more than 100 engineers and researchers continuously focused on dealing with cyber threats, generating intelligence, building security engines that become part of all of Securite, Endpoint, and other Securite products. So at Security Labs, we see almost 1 million new samples every day. Now these samples get processed via a variety of automated classification systems that internally use human intelligence as well as machine learning. And the output of all this analytics is a classification, whether the sample is malicious or clean. Same thing happens at URLs. We process close to 150,000 URLs every day, which also get classified as malicious, phishing, or benign. And the benign URLs get categorized into various categories. These categories can be used by IT admins to control access to certain websites or certain sectors within your organization. Now, security these days isn't just about files and URLs. As I mentioned a couple of slides back, in the architecture of the products, that the sensors collect huge amounts of data. So security requires large data analytics and data mining. So that's the third point on the slide here. We process and analyze close to 500 GBs of security telemetry on a day-to-day basis. Overall, the data lake size is nearing 100 terabytes. That's huge amount of data. And all of this analysis actually enables us to generate the cyber intelligence that benefits our products in turn. Moving on. So till now, we have looked at the evolution of cyber threats, what kind of threats we are faced with today, what cybersecurity companies are doing, what solutions are available to you, and the Securite approach to make sure that your security team's time is best utilized. The next few minutes I'll spend on talking a bit about Securite product portfolio and what we do as a company, and with that we'll close the session. So, at Securite, we build products for various layers within your network. I'm sure you all would agree that the digital networks these days have become very complex. And with that complexity, there is a need to have layered security in place. Only one or two security solutions cannot solve your problem. For an analogy, I'll take a physical world example. So in our housing complexes, you have security at the society entrance. Then you would likely have security at your apartment entrance. Then when you reach your flat, you would likely have a safety door. Then once you get inside, if you are storing something valuable in your home, you would probably keep it under lock and key. So in physical world, we understand the concept of having these layers of security. And that same thing is applicable even in digital world. So at Securite, we also understand that need, and we have several layers of security products that can provide you a holistic security solution. I'm proud to say that Securite is the first Make in India cybersecurity company which has been building cybersecurity product in India for the entire world. In fact, our efforts have seen a business growth of 35% year on year consistently for last 5 years. Overall, we now have in the enterprise segment more than 35,000 customers, and our products are protecting more than 3 million devices. There are several customers. There are many logos on this slide. I'll not go through them, but if you look at them quickly, you will notice that they are spread across various industries and sectors and not restricted to any one geography or any one sector. In fact, we have several international partners as well. We are expanding business outside of India quite heavily. Okay. I'm sure you all take a look at Gartner from time to time, and Gartner is a very good resource to see what our customers are saying about us. I get very excited whenever I see this number. More than 80% of our customers, existing Seqrite customers, have recommended us on Gartner. That's a really healthy percentage. Yes, we would definitely like to get it even higher, get this number to more than 90%, and that's where a lot of our efforts are going in, and I hope that we can get into more partnerships with all of you, help you solve your cybersecurity problems. Now, in addition to the products, this is probably what sets us apart from a lot of other cybersecurity companies. Our technical support teams are available to help you, your organizations, 24/7. We have support in English as well as regional languages. Our support teams, in case needed, can even visit your premise and work with your engineers. And they work with you as partners. So it's not that once we sold the product, our job is done. We want to work with you on your entire journey, and our technical support teams help us ensure that. And finally, no security company can strive without innovation and having good effectiveness. We have several patents to our name, and our engineers continuously work on innovating, coming up with new innovative technologies to keep cyber attackers at bay. Also, we continuously get our products evaluated by third-party reviewers, and the certifications on the right-hand side of this slide attest to our effectiveness, and we have been continuously doing good on the effectiveness front. Okay, that was the final slide. So I'm done with all the slides now. The slide part is over. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have or any further discussion, any thoughts that you may have. And thank you for being so patient and listening to me. Yeah, unless there are any questions, we are good. Anindya, anything you want to add? We are good? Okay. So we are here, and you can see Seqrite written on our tags. Can the Seqrite team raise their hands, please? Okay, so there are 5 of us here. If you have any questions, we can even discuss them one-on-one. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would request you to kindly stay back for a while. Well, your presentation was actually very, very interesting. And we would love to show you our love and respect. And for that, ladies and gentlemen, please put up your hands together yet again for our Joint Secretary, Infocom and CTO, ABP Private Limited, Mr. Shubhamay Chakraborty. And I would request him to kindly join us on the stage. Well, just a little applause wouldn't really be too bad. And as Mr. Dubey just mentioned that quite a few from his brand is already here. So if you have any networking questions, you can definitely put it forward. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for joining us.